All right, y'all. So we're gonna talk about, hold on. Am I getting through here? Okay, I think I'm good. I'm gonna take this hoodie off. I'm hot. Rain stopped. All right, so look, I was just talking about that experience that I had in that organization. Y'all want to read through the lines, y'all can. I won't say the name. Like I say, that's their establishment or whatever. You know, I had a good time doing what I do. I just don't like a lot of stuff that I was seeing, as far as black folks, that is. I tell you, you got to watch Maryland, man. So, check this out. So I was having a conversation with an old agency that I was dealing with a while ago. And they had some kind of technical product owner, so to say, position or whatnot. And so I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. I said a mosquito. I said, I'll take a look at it. Now, I dealt with this company for a while, and I know the guy that used to be there. I sent a lot of black folks over there. I'm talking about a whole bunch. So this guy that I know, he's still working there. I tried to capture some of, now this was the agency I'm talking to. Sometimes what they like to do is I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm going to give y'all a little game. Do not be surprised if an agency wants to record the initial conversation that you have with them. And the reason for that being is they're trying to get an idea on if you're going to be a good fit in a communication. So they record part of that interview and see how you communicate. At a point in my life right now, I don't really have to look at my resume to see what's going on. I can just kind of freestyle it. That's how you know you're competent. I can come up with certain words. I wanted y'all to see how I broke down this Game of Thrones analogy. I asked the guy, I said, hey, you ever watch, it was something that was kind of common. I don't remember what I asked him. Man, I wish y'all had an audio. And he said, no, I ain't really mess with that or whatever. I said, I bet you watch Game of Thrones. Yeah. I said, well, it's like Jon Snow, you know, and I'm breaking down the APIs and Apogee and Jira and all that Kubernetes, Docker, containerization technologies. I'm talking about the Lord Snow and Lord Bolton, and I'm breaking it down like that. I'm just going off. I'm getting in. They like that. That's how you break the eggshells. Star Trek, board, Kubernetes. You know, that's how you do that. He get the grinning and smiling, and he's laughing. You got him. You got him. Personality, charisma. Being able to speak to the technology that you use without, mumble mouthing and feeling unenthusiastic about it and not looking competent and confident. That's how you do that. So I decided to try to record it on Teams, but the Bluetooth audio for some reason doesn't stream the phone itself doesn't capture the Bluetooth audio. So I said, damn, I said, man, I didn't get it, but I'll show y'all an example. I ain't gonna show no faces and names and none of that. I don't do that. But now, so I'm talking to them about it because initially they were like, well, we want a little bit more API experience and whatnot. And he said they don't want anybody with too much. They just want you to work with the developers and all that. And I said, you know what? Maybe that might be something that I can do. I'm a person, as y'all can see, I need to be sitting in a room somewhere making decisions. I need to be making decisions, and I need to be, conversing on how this documentation goes. Coming up with ideas, streamlining processes, creating standard operating procedures. That's something that I probably need to be doing. I don't need to just be sitting at a desk just looking at a screen. No, I don't think that serves me. Excuse me. Hold that microphone in. So, that's my morning mud. So now, that's something that I said I could take a look at. There was another position that I was looking at as well, but that one was for U.S. Bank. That was a 3-month contract, and I think they wanted people to be primarily on site. The role would have been good. Remember, I got submitted to U.S. Bank before I started the contract that I'm on right now. But they wanted me to interview on my first day that I was starting with the contract I got right now. And I'm like, I done already gave my word. I should have went and said what's happening. But remember, I got sick a couple of the first couple of days. But it was through an agency called E-Team. I placed a lot of black folks on with E-Team before. E-Team Incorporated. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a guy from India calling you talking about, I got this contract. That was through U.S. Bank. I should have seen what's happening. That's what I should have did. I didn't. I should have. And it paid way more. But, it is what it is. So, I'm explaining that I have experience in the financial, in the biomedical, and in the wealth management domains. Use that term domains rather than just industries. When you use that term domains, that kind of, that falls under something. So I said, I'm going to have to refresh myself a little bit with Insomnia or Postman, which I wrote a chapter in my second book, if y'all haven't already got. I wrote a chapter about that. I had an API engineer write a chapter. So y'all got that on the intricacies of being black in information technology. Like I said before, I was telling one of my guys, I said, man, maybe I was a little too harsh. Shit, nigga, you wasn't harsh enough, he says. You went just, especially the time it is right now, you went perfect. Yeah, you said what needed to be said. That kind of helped give me a little assurance, man. He's like, man, everything you said in that damn book, you said what the fuck you needed to say, man. That was well needed in what era and time we in right now. So I said, all right, yeah. So I'm glad. But now, going back to this interview process, you got to pivot. That's a term I've been using lately. You got to pivot. What do I mean by pivot? Well, you're thrown in a situation where you need to talk to somebody. Let's say you're working 100% on site. You want to interview somewhere else, but you're on site. Y'all know how that is, especially that help desk feeling. You're literally stuck at the desk. You don't want no position where you're just always just stuck at the desk. You don't want your body to be an anchor. Those aren't good positions to be in if you don't have to be in them. So what I say about that is, if you got to find somewhere to talk, a little duck off spot, because your whole point is when you're interviewing, you probably saw what I call the promised land, as Dr. King says. You saw the promised land. You said, well, there's something that you might think be a better fit for you. You might have saw more money, whatever the case it may be. And so you are going to try to get to that so-called promised land. Well, how do you do it? Well, you're going to have to install Microsoft Teams on your phone or whatever the case may be. And you got to find somewhere during a lunch break or during a break to have that conversation. And then you're going to have to, schedule PTO time if need be. I told them, I said, look, I'm willing to come on site out there. They would prefer it for somebody that's local because you're going to be on site a lot. I said, I will come on site and take time off. I will come to you is what I'm saying. So hopefully they could have a remote one, and then I could sit down and shake some hands. That goes a long way. Because you can find out, do you really want to be there? Do you really want to work there? Is this an environment that you think you could be in? Because if I could sit down with them, I think it's a little easier. See, ain't no laptop battery about to die when I'm sitting in front of you. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to hit you with the, I'm going to really be able to ask some deep questions. So, as I was told, remember that lady that told me, remember earlier in my career, where the little thick, I said the Karen, not the Karen, the Gertrude, the little thick Susie basically was like, she hooked me up with the MSP company. She said, keep a suit and tie, in your backpack. She was the one, I remember when I was, she said $100,000, that ain't nothing. I was young at that time. She was like, man, she's looking at me. I said, man, I wonder what it would be like to make $100,000. She's like, man, 100 ain't nothing. She said, I'll make that. She's talking as if it's nothing. I can't even grasp. I'm still, in like the 20 something dollar range or whatever like that. I'm just looking at that. That's good for me around that time. You young, you making 20 something dollars an hour. I mean, that's a big deal around that time. So for her, she's looking at me like, man, you don't know nobody, you don't know no black folks can make 100? Like, no, I don't really, That's a different world. That's a different world. That is a different world. And she was trying to kind of introduce me to it. What was even more interesting about that interview process, when she brought me over to that place, she was trying to fight for me to get more. These people didn't want to give me any more. She was trying to fight. But I think around that time, when she asked me, well, what do you do? What do you like to do? She was trying to check my temperature. She was trying to check my temperature. She was basically trying to, she was shooting her shot. But hey, that wasn't me. That wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of Negroes in Minnesota, y'all would have, man, let me tell you. I'm telling you, if that's y'all's boat, and she looked good too, I ain't gonna lie to you. She was bad. Oh, she was bad. So, Negroes that float that way, I mean, man, y'all would have been on it. Y'all would have got that $100,000. Y'all would have got that $100,000 because she was really trying to get me that bread. She was gonna be like a mentor. She was gonna be like a mentor, gigolo hirer. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you something else, man. So I'm pulling up to my destination here. I'm gonna tell y'all something else. When you're in the interview process, when you're doing your interviews and you in the interview process, man, it's good to keep some. And here's the thing with me. I didn't really keep no interview clothes until she put me on to that. I can honestly tell y'all that's a white person that was trying to help me. She was trying to help me, man. Some people, they think that when I get on here and, I make a distinction. She wasn't a race soldier. She wasn't. She was not. She was really trying to look out for her brother, man. And when you could find those little ducked off little spots where you could just have a word or whatever the case may be, don't feel bad about it. You have to look in your best interest. You absolutely have to do that. You have to look in your best interest, man. You don't want to be in a situation where you're not looking in your best interest. When I was in my 20s, I would be looking in their best interest. Well, what do they think? And oh man, I'm taking a little time off with a man. Damn that. Do what works for you. I was just reviewing some of the cybersecurity, you know what I'm saying, interview that the brother went through. I thought that was pretty stellar. He kept it real quick. I noticed the lady had a little southern accent, a little drawl. They found some commonality. He's like, man, I'm from Carolina. She's from Arkansas. I started listening to her for a minute. I said, she kind of sounds like she might have been around some brothers a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But that's how they sound. You know, they get southern. You know? And I said, well, you know what? This lady sounded like she was giving them a fair shot. I don't think I really got a reason to really bring down the video. I'm just going to take maybe a screenshot of the video, but I'm going to take that audio and break it down, take the company out, and I'm going to let y'all hear it. This is a cybersecurity firm. I want y'all to hear that. I'm going to start telling brothers, man, record them interviews, get them to me, let me break them down. I'm going to analyze them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to analyze them. I'm going to dissect them. I think the brothers are going to get hired. I'm going to be honest. I'll be happy if he gets hired. I thought about applying at the place. I said, no, I'm going to just let the brother ride. You know, I got my eyes set on some other things. But, you know, yeah, man, y'all got to look out for your own interests. You know, make sure your phone's charged. Get your little Bluetooth headphones. Find a place quiet. I found somewhere, you know, I might even do a little walkthrough one day. Once I get to my destination, maybe I'll do a little walkthrough with you guys. Hey, this is a little spot, you know, where you can just, you know, you can go and you can take your conversations. Another thing too, if you're downtown Minneapolis, the public library. That's another bar in the gym I'm gonna give y'all. Hit the public library. You can actually reserve a room. You can reserve a room at the public library. Ask them for the Wi-Fi code. Say, hey, look, I got an interview. You know, see if you see a brother or somebody down there that you look, you know, that's kind of cool. Hey, bro, get me up in this room, bro. I'm trying to get that bread. That way you ain't got to bring your whole laptop down. A lot of times you can just do it off your phone. You know, they got Wi-Fi up in there. And make sure you're there early. 10 to 15 minutes if possible. At least 5 ain't enough. You're going to need 10. You're going to need 10 because you see what happened to me with my laptop charger. You could park downtown and you could do your Microsoft Teams. You got some good cellular energy up in there. You could park or park wherever you at. Go out to your car. I remember I used to go out to my car, man, and I used to eat my lunch in some places because I really wanted to break away from work. See, if I'm in there with y'all and we sitting there talking, that's still work. If I'm not making the kind of money I want to make that's worth me sitting around and listening to y'all just go on and on and on about, I don't want to talk about no work. Now, if I'm working somewhere where I'm getting paid a lot, that's what you getting paid for. You pay to sit there and listen to half of that mess. But man, listen, I'd be trying to get my break. If it's break time, I want a break. That's the point of me going to different floors and stuff like that. It can be overwhelming when you coming back in these offices. You kind of like, man, it's so noisy. There's so much going on and your violation of your space is so heavy. You don't even know what to do. So it's best. A lot of people, they want to work from home on Fridays. They don't want to come in the office on Fridays. Friday's still going to be dead. Even though they bringing people back into work, Fridays will probably still be dead. Those are good interview days for you. If you want to do an interview, I'm just speaking from experience. You might work in a different place or whatever like that. Y'all, the market's it's changing. It's not the same. They got a big expo that's going to be coming up. I'm thinking I should go up there and see what's happening. This AI stuff, man, I'm telling y'all, they are accelerating the hell out of it. And it's not for you. They are accelerating the hell out of it when it comes to the workplace. And they're trying to hire less, not more. I just got into a conversation with a machine learning engineer. And I'm going to get some more game from her. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm about to ask some more questions. And I'm going to tell y'all what she said.